Good evening, friends. Welcome, everybody. This is day 73 and the first part of the fourth cycle of our meditations this year. And I'm Andrei. We hail from Romania. We've lived in a few places. We've lived most of the last 27 years in Canada. And we've been practicing this along this journey, and we have enjoyed it every day, every minute. We are more than happy to share it with you. And you might have seen in the beginning that we will start the session with a foot soak. So if you haven't gathered the supplies, please go ahead. If you are new, as in you have never come to any Sahaja Yoga session online or live wherever you live, then bear with us through the main part of the session. And at the end, there will be breakout rooms where you can actually have the introductory part. Luckily, it's all backwards compatible. So all you will be doing in the main room will kind of work for how it has to start/restart. So it's all good. We are also reminding everybody who might have missed the session and they might want to go through it, that there is the list of recordings online and they are at the same link as always. At the end of the session, there will be the opportunity to go to a breakout room and have a bit more individualized help if we feel like we need it. And we can ask for that by writing in the chat. Today we are lucky enough to share the evening with Sujata and Wendy, and we look very much forward to their presence and contributions. So welcome, Sujata and Wendy. Please go ahead and give us a little hello.
Hello. Just a little one. Hi, I'm Wendy from Los Angeles. I just love meditating. I sell real estate. I do investment real estate as well. But what I really do is meditate and share this beautiful experience with all of you. So I'm super excited to be here tonight.
Thank you, Wendy. Sujata?
Hey everyone, I'm Sujata. I am joining you from Bay Area, California. I am going to be presenting you a little song today. It's in Marathi language. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the song. So this song that I'll be presenting today, this was composed by a saint in the 14th century in India, and the emotion behind the song is very beautiful because this saint comes in that time in India. There was this caste system was very prevalent, and this saint belonged to the one of the lowest castes in the society. So he was not allowed to come to any other places. They were treated very badly, and he's not allowed. They were not included in any of the religious activities or any religions. His job was actually to just clean the dirt or the dead bodies of the animals, and they were called the untouchables. But the amazing thing is that there were some very beautiful realized saints who actually were born in those communities, and he was one of the very first ones. Whose soul was very beautiful, and he started writing these beautiful compositions because he couldn't see any of those idols or all those things that were there in the temples and all that in those times. And his whole devotion was just to the formless, because he was not allowed to see anything. And there was another great saint who recognized this beauty in him and saw that he's actually realized, and he took him under his guidance. This saint is very well known in India. So this poem that I'll be presenting today, he describes the beauty that he sees through his spiritual eyes. So that's the song.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sujata. We're so desirous to have it all. So we will move on to our first part, which is the meditation with a little bit of clearing. As usual, we will start with a foot soak, and the theme today is establishing the witness state. And well, really, it's first finding out about the witness state. And by finding out is we mean that we can't really read it in a book. We can't really get somebody to certify us to be in the witness state. We need to certify ourselves, like most things in Sahaja Yoga. It's befitting that this is the subject of a session that has a prime number. I do believe 73 is a prime number. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Because a prime number divides only with one and itself. But itself means the entirety of it. And the witness state, well, comes from a few places in our subtle system. And we need a lot of the things to be reasonably in balance to kind of get to be able to step into that state. But one of the key places is our throat chakra, where the witness state, to some extent, is a definitory aspect of it. And this is the chakra of collectivity, of feeling part and parcel of the whole. So feeling like a prime number, either one or truly one with every little part that's there. So I felt that this is a great little coincidence. So I thought I'd share it with you. Right now, we will start with raising our Kundalini slowly, respectfully, and purposefully as usual. I'm doing the bandhan. Very good. So now let's give a little bit of vibrations, clockwise rotations with our right hand while the left hand stays nice and open in our lap. And ask inside, Mother, please give this foot soak the power to absorb negativity and heat from our subtle system. Please awaken the power of clearing in this salt water in our foot soak. And at some point, we'll feel a little something, and that's probably kind of where we're good to go. And then we get in. And let's notice where we're at from a mental activity perspective. First little act of witnessing. Where are we at? Can we watch Shri Mataji's photograph and simply enjoy it and enjoy ourselves with no thoughts? If we can, that's a great start. If we're having a bit of trouble, let's note where the trouble is from. Is it the minutes, hours, days, months, and years ahead? Is it some little fear? Is it some desire that we want, that we have? We didn't quite get to have enough dinner or snack, or we're looking back in the past at something that is nagging at us. Or maybe it's pleasant, but we can't untangle from it. Now let's close our eyes and keep the left hand on our lap and put the right hand towards the Mother Earth or on the Mother Earth. Probably towards the Mother Earth. We're in the foot soak. And let's take the mantra for our eternal child principle, the principle of innocence and wisdom, Shri Ganesha. If we can't remember, the template is on the screen. We can have a little peek, but it's always best if we manage to go inside and stay there. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Let's forget all these ideas that we have about our obligations. Because if the divine power is there, and if the divine power is the ocean of love and is almighty, we have to assume our lovely position as the children of the divine and let it guide us. And let the reflection of that great power, which is our mother Kundalini, bring us in tune with the path. Oh, Mother, I am forever your child. Please let me look at everything with the eyes of divine innocence and wisdom. With the eyes of the eternal child. This is the basis of our left side. And can completely cleanse our emotions. And put the right hand back on our lap. And to gently send away residual thinking, we can take the mantra for the power of no thinking. Nirvichara, without thoughts. So the mantra is for Shri Nirvichara. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirvichara Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. In the silence, we can witness our desire. When we are the pure self, What desire can be left? What compares to that? What achievement do we need to run after? What worry compares to the eternity of the self? Oh, Mother, you are our only desire. For you are the path and the power for becoming completely the pure self. And this witnessing that dissolves it. It is not dry, it is not mental. It is from the heart, and it should generate a mix of divine love and pure joy. They cannot exist one without the other. And for that, the eyes of the spirit have to be the ones looking at everything, not our mind, but the eyes of the spirit. Mother, please completely open our eyes of the spirit, the eyes of the heart. Let us feel that drishti, the view from that angle, from the eyes of the heart. We can also gently open our eyes, and Shri Mataji's photo is a great place to start, to see if we can feel the eyes of the heart watching, not our other eyes. And we can gently close our eyes and seal it in and try to extend that to everything. We can take the mantra for the great power of the heart, Shri Shiva Parvati, the essence of the spirit. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shiva Parvati Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Very good. Hopefully, we have been able to touch on how the left side looks when we have gone into the witness state. We can gently open our eyes and rinse our feet, put the foot soak on the side, and watch Shri Mataji's talk in this state with the eyes of the heart.
I remember I was not very old at that time, but we were living in a house very close to the secretariat where they had a strike and they were asking for separate Maharashtra or something. So the police was standing there, and by the order of the chief minister, they were shooting at everyone who was coming. Anyone who passed through that road, they were shooting, they were enjoying a shooting game, all of them. I saw all this and I just couldn't bear it. I just went down and asked the police to stop it. They stopped. You'll be amazed, they stopped. Then I carried those people who were wounded up in my house, took out their bullets and all that, called the ambulance and saved them. But for that, one thing was there, I was in a state of witnessing. So you become fearless. There is no fear at all once you learn how to have the state of witnessing. Because when you are not witnessing, you get disturbed, you get upset, you get excited, you may join also this wrong time of it. But if you are in a state of witnessing, that itself is a power. And that witnessing state helps you to win over so many difficulties of other people. So this is the best way to bring non-violence. In violent places, you go and stand steadily there, facing all the things that are happening, and that witness state acts and stops that kind of a violence that is going on. But witness state is not a mental state. It is a state of a spiritual ascent where you become a witness. Best way to practice witness state is not to criticize anyone. Not to criticize. I've seen people who are all the time criticizing others. They cannot criticize themselves, so they start criticizing others. So much so that they don't even see what's wrong with them. They don't even say what wrong they have done to others, because they think they have a right to criticize others, and they enjoy this criticism very well. Actually, there's nothing to be criticized. You just watch and see for yourself. That's all is your right. You have no right to criticize anyone or anything. But some people think if you do not criticize, then it will go on like this and it will never stop. It's not that. Once you watch the thing yourself, only just watch, your attention itself is enlightened now. With that enlightened attention, you can just watch and stop the nonsense that is there. But we are always conscious that we are something great and we have to do this and we have to do that. Under these circumstances, what happens is that you become another problem. Because what can you do? You can't do anything. But what you can do is to watch. By watching and by just seeing things as they are, you really develop a very different state of being. Firstly, all such people who are just witness, what happens to them is very interesting, that their memory loss is much less. Because whatever they see becomes like a picture to them. Like we can say, they can tell you even the color, the folding, everything. Whatever they see is so much in their mind like a photo, and they can tell you exactly what they have seen. And your memory is not lost. While if you react onto everything, your memory becomes horrible. And people are so much habituated with reacting. Like I know of one gentleman, he had a habit of reacting, and I was going with him in the car. So he was reading every advertisement, every name of every shop, every person, everything. He was just telling who is that, what is that, this, that. I was wondering, look at this gentleman, he's talking so much, what will happen to him? But ultimately I found that all such people who are all the time reacting become, actually they have, I think, senile decay, or maybe they become forgetful, very forgetful. But this is not the only loss we have. With this kind of people, when they are formed into a collective, they can be very dangerous. Because with that kind of a nature, they have to do something. They must do something, because after all, they are combined together for a purpose, or we can say for some reactions which all of them have built. In small things, in big things, you'll find people do like that. And some people who are very much developed in this kind of behavior, can collect lots of people and do any amount of harm to others. So, this power of witnessing, you all should develop. Try to develop it. That when you are reacting, stop reaction. Stop reaction about everything. You will be amazed. You will find yourself a very, very powerful person, in the sense you will have no ambitions, you will have no desires, you will have no special fondness or anything. But just you are witnessing the drama. It's very interesting to witness also, because then you understand the humor behind everything, you understand the stupidity behind everything, you understand also how people have been so violent, and you just laugh at it. Don't get upset, excited, nothing. Just laugh at it. After some time, you'll be amazed. Your witness state will increase. And when in the collective, all of you have that witness state, you can do wonders without doing anything, without saying anything, without acting. Only your presence itself can work it out. I don't say that it will have effect on everyone, no, can't say. But most of the people, any person who is in that state, he is the one who brings peace, he brings joy. Your value system should be based on such things like love. Where you can get love, you should be attached to that person. Where you get a realized soul, you should be attached to them. And not to worldly people who think no end of themselves and think that they are great. They may be. But to you, as Sahaja Yogis, is the love of people which should be respected, should be understood, and to be felt. But if you have no witness state, then you will see how much money this man has got, how many cars he has got, what clothes he is wearing. All these considerations will be there. But in a witness state, you will understand that you will get vibrations from this person. You will understand that person is spiritual. And that's how you will stick to such a person. You will not go for artificial things, but a genuine personalities that are there. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Let's continue to meditate for a couple of more minutes.
नाथा घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग, नाथा घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग. अबीर गुलाल, अबीर गुलाल उधळीत रंग, अबीर गुलाल उधळीत रंग. नाथा घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग, नाथा घरी नाचे माझा, नाथा घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग. उंबरठ्यासी कैसे शिवू आम्ही जातीहीन, उंबरठ्यासी कैसे शिवू आम्ही जातीहीन. रूप तुझे कैसे पाहू, रूप तुझे कैसे पाहू, रूप तुझे कैसे पाहू त्यात आम्ही दीन. रूप तुझे कैसे पाहू त्यात आम्ही दीन. रूप तुझे कैसे पाहू, रूप तुझे कैसे पाहू त्यात आम्ही दीन. पायरीशी हो दंग गाऊनी अभंग, पायरीशी हो दंग, पायरीशी हो दंग गाऊनी अभंग. नात घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग, नाथा घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग. वाळवंटी जाऊ आम्ही वाळवंटी नाचू, वाळवंटी जाऊ आम्ही, वाळवंटी जाऊ आम्ही वाळवंटी नाचू. चंद्रभागेच्या पाण्याने, चंद्रभागेच्या पाण्याने, चंद्रभागेच्या पाण्याने अंग अंग न्हाऊ. चंद्रभागेच्या पाण्याने अंग अंग विठ्ठलाचे नाम घेऊ, विठ्ठलाचे नाम घेऊ, विठ्ठलाचे नाम घेऊ, विठ्ठल 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 हो, विठ्ठलाचे नाम घेऊ. होनी निसंग नात घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग, नाथा घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग. आषाढी कार्तिकी भक्त जन येती, आषाढी कार्तिकी भक्त जन येती, पंढरीच्या वाळवंटी संत गोळा होती, पंढरीच्या वाळवंटी संत गोळा होती. चोखा म्हणे, चोखा म्हणे नाम घेता, चोखा म्हणे नाम घेता, चोखा म्हणे नाम घेता. भक्त होती दंग नात घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग, नाथा घरी नाचे माझा, नात घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग. अबीर गुलाल, अबीर गुलाल उधळीत रंग, अबीर गुलाल उधळीत रंग, रंग रंग अबीर गुलाल उधळीत रंग. नाथा घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग, नाथा घरी नाचे माझा, नाथ घरी नाचे माझा सखा पांडुरंग.
Okay, that's just such beautiful singing. Let's take a moment to just close our eyes and see how we're feeling. Music is something that can really take us into the vibrations, really help us find the peace. So we're going to have a witness state workshop together where we're going to watch together. But first I wanted to say a few things about the witness state. Shri Mataji was talking in her talk about reacting and how bad it is for us. And we react from our ego. From the right side is where we react from. And the other day we had a wonderful program about being honest with ourselves. We spoke pretty much about the left side and being honest about our feelings and what's going on with our memories and facing what's going on there. But we have this other thing, which is facing our ego. And what's so difficult there is the ego is not self-reflexive. It can't see itself. So that's why it's so easy to make a fool out of yourself when you're in your ego, because you can't see it. Fortunately, we have other people, and that's, if people really love us, they're honest with us, and they tell us when we're not getting it right, and they give us some feedback that we can't see. But what's wonderful in Sahaja Yoga, and what's so great about this witness state, is this is a tool that we can use to watch our ego, watch our reactions. And we can do it anytime, all through the day. We can just watch and see, wow, what are my triggers? What am I reacting to? And we can learn so much about ourselves, and we can stop the mental chatter inside of us. We can slow it by witnessing it. And you might ask, like, okay, if we're watching our mind, this is obviously something happening inside of our brain. What's doing the watching? It's not our mind or our brain watching. It's the spirit. So the spirit is what steps back, gives us that detachment to go into the witness state and see ourselves in perspective as part of a whole larger, more perfect state. So that when we're going in the witness state, we're using our left heart, the spirit, and we're using that, seeing ourselves as part of a whole and being able to step back and see that. So those two work together. So what is the difference between meditation in Sahaja Yoga and practicing the witness state? Well, meditation is something that when we go very, very deep inside the joy, that just spontaneously happens. We just go inside the vibrations, our kundalini comes up, it guides us, and we just go into the peaceful state. But there are times when we are having such a hard time in our life and we're stressed, or we have major difficulties that are pulling us out of balance. And then at that point we have this beautiful thing, which is we can practice the witness state. You can't really practice meditation. Meditation is a state you're either in or you're not in. You can do certain things to facilitate going into meditation. But what happens is when we sit for meditation. If we are unable to go into meditation, then we can use practicing the witness state, this tool that we have to calm ourselves down inside. So the reason why the witness state is my absolutely favorite thing is because you can't do it wrong. It's like a foot soak. I love foot soaks because you just put your feet in the water and it works. Same with candling, same with sitting on the earth. The witness state is something you can decide to do, just like you fill your foot soak bucket. I'm going to decide to watch what's happening inside of myself. And I don't have to be quiet to do it. Actually, it's way more interesting to watch when we're not. So this is something that is actually best to work on when we're super stressed. So that's another kind of comforting thought, is then when we have something really difficult happening, like we've lost our job, we're getting divorced, we've had a person we love has passed away. There are a lot of things that can cause us intense feelings and reactions, which usually go together, the feelings and the reactions. So what we can do is, at those times when we're on our knees, this witness state is there to save us and help us. And we can watch and step back and do that. Because we have this option. We can be this character that we play. Like my character is, I'm Wendy, I'm a cool California girl, I'm chilled out, or whatever it is that I want to, persona that I want to project to the world. And then I have my higher self, which is when I identify with my spirit, when I identify with my kundalini, and when I am harnessing the powers of the chakras and experiencing forgiveness, forgiving, compassion, all these things. Now that's when I'm my higher self. And the witness state allows us, no matter how damaged our chakras are, it doesn't matter. We are not our chakras. We are not the damage. It allows us to be our higher self whenever we choose to. And there's power in that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do our little witness workshop, witness state workshop. So what we're going to do, I will just simply say what we're focusing on at that time. So what we want to do when we're first learning how to witness is to watch our feelings and our thoughts. And sometimes we go back and forth between them. Sometimes we're mainly thinking, sometimes we're mainly feeling. But what we want to do is watch and identify how that feels. So a feeling actually has emotion it goes through. A feeling starts, it builds, it intensifies, and then it goes back down. And if we jump into that feeling at the height, we engage it, sometimes we can work ourselves up emotionally. So we can learn how to just watch it and not engage it. And with the thought, we can just, you can see, like, how do you experience this thought? And start feeling, what does the thought feel like? And let it go by and don't engage it. So now let's close our eyes. We can take our glasses off if we've got those on. Let's just bring our awareness inside. And what we do for this part, where we're watching the busyness inside or any hard feelings, anger, anxiety, depression, what we do for this part when we're on our own practicing the witness state is we sit until it all calms down. That might be 10 minutes, that might be an hour, but we have to have the patience to sit. So we'll just sit and watch. What's busy inside of us? Are there feelings? Are there thoughts? Now let's take a moment with our eyes closed to put our awareness in our heart, where we're going to watch how does our heart feel, our whole heart. Without judging. And whatever we're watching and feeling, we're watching and feeling from a little distance away. We're detached. And now that we feel our heart and how that feels, we can step back a little further and see how do all our chakras feel? How does our subtle system feel right now? There may be places where the vibrations, there may be chakras where the vibrations flowing, and there may be heaviness in other chakras, but we're just watching it all together as one system, so that we are seeing what's happening within me. We are seeing the truth. We are being honest. This is who we are, and we don't judge it. So now let's raise our kundalinis. We can do it nice and slowly and keep our eyes closed if it's comfortable, just so we can see if we can feel the vibrations. Watch the vibrations rising. And when we're ready, we can give a bandhan. And again, while we give the bandhan, we can step back and see how it feels vibrationally when we give the bandhan. What's happening inside when we do it? So if we can, come to the surface and open our eyes. I think I talked a little too long. We're going to go ahead and have some announcements now. Just to update you what's happening. We're going to we're having our last program on Thursday, and it's going to be about how to give others realization and how that feels, which is pretty amazing actually. So if you haven't tried that, it'll be a support for you as well. We're going to be taking a break. We have, we're going to go away, and we're going to come back on September 19th through Thursday, October 10th. And of course, while we are not having the meditation course, but we're having the foot soaks. So we can continue to do the foot soaks on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the 8:45 Eastern Time. So we're going to demonstrate on August 8th how to give realization. And actually, this is very key for actually continuing to grow, because you have to give the vibrations for them to continue flowing. It's this crazy interconnectivity that we have to each other. And of course, we're always recommending that you can request a mentor. This is one way you can really grow. You can request an extra mentor. You can join our WhatsApp group. We have a lot of communications, and people get connected up through WhatsApp groups and meet each other, and it's pretty fantastic. We have also on our website, we have links to all the courses, if you, the meditations, if you've missed any of them. We have this QR code to help you access, so you can always go there. We're at this point where we're going to, people can decide if they would like to stay, and if they stay, and would they like to go into a breakout room with a one-on-one Sahaja Yoga teacher, or would you like to stay in the main room with the chat? And we're going to have some questions here. You can, if you have questions, you can, there's a million ways to do it. I'm not sure I remember all of them, but you can certainly message the chat, the person in charge of the chat, and you can message me as the MC, and I'd be happy to try to answer your questions. So here we're going to welcome back everybody. Beautiful music, beautiful meditation. I really enjoyed it. We have some really basic questions, and that allows us as presenters to go in the direction that the Spirit moves us, which is great. So our first question that we're asking is, what does being in the witness state mean to you? And Andrei, if you could share your feelings about that, that would be amazing.
Thank you, Wendy. Well, I think we're there is this little bit of dichotomy between inner witnessing and outside witnessing, and they're both very, very important. And I mean, we sometimes discover one before the other, so to speak. And I think at a conscious level, eventually they kind of go together, because it's really, there's an infinite numbers of way to react, but there's only one witness state, right? So it's at the end of the day, that's one power that looks both either inside or outside, and I think the outside part might have to do with us, or not do with us at all. As Shri Mataji was saying in the talk, simply having this constant mental activity triggered by, well, anything really, and being able to simply be satisfied with the state of not having the mental activity and enjoying the silence, literally, just like the name of the of the cycle. It's a huge piece where we literally discover the silence and how nice and energy conserving it is, and it's just awesome. And I don't know, I can't say when it just one day I was like, yeah, dude, today I'm gonna just rip it through the witness state. I don't know how it happened, but at some point you're like, oh, quiet is so nice. That's basically it, right? And then the inside, as you alluded to, well, there's some things that we can see faster than we see others. It's a bit of a process of which ones poke our eye a little bit, but being able to see them, right? And the witnessing, it doesn't necessarily mean that we don't do anything. I mean, already by the time we've detached from them to see them, we've done half of what's required to let them just go away. But we might have to do other things, but we really have to do them in that state. At least that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
You brought up an interesting point, which is I remember when I was telling my mom, I was 22 years old, about Sahaja Yoga and being quiet and your thoughts stopping and how great it was. And my mom, who had never been very quiet inside, just said, why would I want my thoughts to stop? And it was like this, I was just flummoxed. It was like, I'm a kid anyway, right? And I'm just sitting there going, well, because it feels good. But yeah, so until you really experience that profound silence, you don't know how it heals you inside, how it heals your central nervous system. So Sujata, you've got your microphone. Yes. So did you have something to share about your experience with what the witness state, being in the witness state, means for you?
So one thing I want to be very honest here. This is one quality that I have really not mastered, and I'm always working towards it. I don't get angry at all, so that I can claim. But being complete witness, there are years when it's been much easier, and again, like you mentioned, right, when we have challenges, like right now I'm a teen. My kid is just my older one is just entered teenage, so this is a real challenge to the witness state. But yeah, I think I'm fortunate, like I've had so many friends, other Sahaj yogis who have really mastered it, and very inspiring to see, even with the very, very difficult situations, they are able to go back to that witness state and completely get by. So I think, yeah, witness state, detachment is the key thing for it. And just some practical things I feel that in today's times, like practically for me, I feel one of the things that really makes it hard is my phone, my smartphone. And I think if you feel that you're not, you're getting involved too much, or you're reacting, or your mind is too noisy, at least for me, that really works. I put my phone completely away and I detox from it. And then again, you go back into that thoughtless state and your fortress, or, then you come back. But then again, the world is out there to get your attention. And so it is a challenge, yeah.
You brought up a very interesting thing about the attention and the fact that human beings, they've done studies, and even super bright human beings like students at MIT do much better when they can focus on one thing. So what we've done to ourselves is damage our kind of collective attention with the way we receive media now, and little bits and little quick bits of information on our phone. I think that is one of the best tips. We have a tip section later, but I would say this is a tip. This is one of the best tips for any of us, because we get sort of overly involved and entertained. It's almost like our phone becomes a personality. I think it's actually an extension of ourselves, but it's a little narcissistic, and it can stop us from also relating to people we're with, right? So you found that super, super helpful. I mean, for me, the witness state is just like the best. I mean, because for me, I have PTSD. I had some very serious childhood trauma, and the witness state basically has just completely helped me to leave the symptoms behind, because I was able to step back and watch my triggers. When you have PTSD, you're triggered by something. Like if you're a soldier, I've worked with soldiers, and they'll have this thing where anytime they hear a loud noise, they startle. And I also had a startle with any kind of a loud noise. And it seems like a simple thing, but eventually when you watch your triggers, they dissolve and they go away. And you have this like aha moment when you're like, oh my gosh, this thing I've had my whole life with me is leaving me at peace, and I'm having that peace. And we all want that, and we can all have that. We all have something we struggle with, and the witness state is perfect for anything we're struggling with, because it helps us step back and see it in perspective, I think. So there's a question here. It's very interesting. Sujata, were you born into Sahaja Yoga, or did you get your realization this life later in life?
Yeah, I wasn't born into Sahaja Yoga. I got my realization when I was in high school. My mom is the one who started it.
Okay. Well, so the question is, I'm glad. It sounds like you've had a while in Sahaj. So the question is, over your time in Sahaja Yoga, how have you improved with the witness state? And maybe share some experiences with, like some successes you had from maybe when you first were starting the meditating, and like where you've gotten to now.
So for me, my growth in Sahaja Yoga started with music, I would say, because the music is the one that really drew me more and more. I started seeking more through the music, but that's a separate thing. But with respect to witness state, I remember in 2008. We had been to Vashi Hospital. My dad was unwell, and we were like staying there very often, like for periods, long periods, 2 months, and as long as that. And I had a chance to interact with those doctors there who are very, very deep yogis. And one of the tips I got there, that has stayed, and it has really helped me, like last, since 2008. This tip was that whenever you have a problem or something, then you should get into the habit of when you're doing a job, then you just keep your thoughts with respect to that, like, or keep checking, like if when you are cooking, then let your thoughts be only with respect to the cooking. So don't like the multitasking is one thing maybe you should not do. So I keep practicing that, and this helped me a lot even at work, because then what happens is when you're working, don't listen to some music or just don't do anything else, but just focus on what you're doing, and that itself is it is meditative when you're just doing that one thing. So even cooking can become meditative, and it gives joy. If when we do multiple things, like the phone is the one that really takes away our ability to enjoy things, like we get bored and stuff. But if you first of all detox from the phone, then you can enjoy even very small little tasks. And I don't know, that was one of the things that has helped me a lot.
Wow. It's almost like you're describing what they call something being Zen, because there might be one simple thing, and for you, you've described it beautifully. For me, it's when I do dishes and my hands are in the warm water, and I'm doing this simple thing, which is just cleaning the dishes, and I'm feeling the warm water on my hands, and it's soothing, and I just go so quiet inside. And sometimes we can find things like that, right, where that help us go into the quiet or into the witness state more, where we are just in the moment, feeling it, and it's fantastic. So I'm sure Andrei's had a couple of minutes to introspect on what meaningful change has happened for him and over the years of doing meditating, and how the witness state has manifested.
Well, I mean, probably again due to my job, right? Baby intensive care, right? So it is a place where you got to develop witness state to some extent, because otherwise you can't do it, right? Anybody who works there has to be able to detach. So that's a little bit of a evolutionary pressure applied from that end. Obviously, that doesn't help with your insides. In fact, a lot of this detachment in this kind of environments essentially moves us further to the right. So we basically become a bit more insensitive to the left side, and yes, it's true that the right side gains in a little bit of abilities, no question about it, but it's not really balanced, and you can sometimes see it on people. The occasional guys actually manage to stay more or less balanced, but balance is also, if you go a little further away both sides, it kind of still, but it's a funny thing about this. So the Sahaj version, where we do this through finding the central space and getting above it, it's a bit of a different thing. And I mean, what helps me, and I can't even tell you 100% how, and a lot of the things that helped me were almost all of them at some point taken from one of Shri Mataji's talks, like literally. And I think this is something that she's been telling us, for a very long time, occasionally, is that to always ask ourselves, why? Why do I think like that? Why I have in my head or in my feelings what I have? Why? What's the root of that, right? And it just seems that if we sort of learn to do that with a little bit of detachment and a wee bit of a smile, we realize that there's really nothing that should be powerful enough to ruin our day. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know, but every once in a while, like even yogis who are pretty centered, they'll just be something gets your goat, right? Something
No,
that
but I'm not saying that this is an instantaneous. Okay, this is not what I'm saying. But that's exactly it, right? That I've it becomes faster and faster and easier, right? When you're, because after some time you kind of feel pretty quickly when you're like, no, this is not in the center. What's going on right now? I'm not in the center. And then you ask, but why? Why am I not, right? And then you're like, well, because my liver is hot. So if that's so simple, let's put some ice on it and we'll be cool, right? Why I keep thinking about what's going to happen in 6 months over stuff that I have no control over, right? Because this is the environment. So let's just not do that, right? But of course, the little chakras have to be in position to be doing that, what to do. So we got to help them out.
Well, ice is another one of those perfect things you can't do wrong. And there's a yogi really been in for a very, very long time named Bala. And he said if he was to pick one thing that helped him the most in Sahaja, it was putting ice on his liver. And that made him go so quiet and deeper. And so these, yeah, I mean, for me, the witness state, I basically had such bad PTSD at one point that my life depended on it. I was born with a heart condition, and it was either I learned to witness this everything that's being triggered, or it's God knows what's going to happen. And I took it up really seriously, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do it all the time, which sounds crazy. And at the first, I thought, oh, that is just like insane. But then I thought, I'm going to try to do it all the time. So I got really into this habit, and it's like building a muscle, and it's like you just get in the habit of witnessing, just like you get in a habit of thinking. You get in the habit of witnessing. And what happened for me is I think it was about right before COVID. There were 2 incidents that happened really quickly in a row, and we had a beautiful center, and there were about 45 people in this class, and I get this phone call 5 minutes before class starts, and it's that my mother has had a terrible fall, hit her head. She's in very serious condition, and they need me to talk to her all the way to the hospital to keep her conscious. So I'm here, and I'm like, there's 45 people in there. And I was like, no, I need to talk to my mom right now. So I left them in there. And I think I maybe said something like, let's all sit and be quiet together. Let's raise our Kundalini and whatever. And I went out, and I got on this phone call, and I was on the phone call until she got to the hospital. And, you know, they stabilize you for a while. So it was a good 20 minutes I left that class. And I was very present, and I was witnessing it, and I didn't feel upset. I didn't feel upset about my mom. I had faith that she'd be okay. And I didn't feel upset about the class sitting there waiting for me. And I was in the witness state. And then not too long after that, we had another thing happen in the class. There weren't quite as many people there, maybe 35 people. And one of the people stood up at the end of class, and she just passed out, like flat on her face. Just went from standing to flat on her face. And everybody was reacting, and they were all going over and like trying to pick her up. And, you know, and I just witnessed it. I mean, I just was calm, and I just was like, let's leave her be. Let's not move her. We don't know what we're doing. You know, don't pull her arm, you know. And I was able to just be, to witness it. And after that, I was very grateful, because I realized, well, that happened because I have worked really a lot on developing this witness state muscle inside myself. We have a question from one of you, so we're going to answer it. How to practice the witness state when you feel that it's your duty to train your kids, but they don't listen to you. You have children that don't listen to you? Really? I've never seen children like that. Does anyone who have kids, does anyone want to take a stab at that one? Sujata, do you want to?
Could you repeat the question again?
The question is, how do you practice the witness state when you feel that it's your duty to train your kids, but they don't listen to you? So obviously this person is reacting every time their kid doesn't listen to them, which is probably a lot. So how would you go about trying to learn to witness this? Well, it's disrespect, right? And in Indian culture, at least, and children are really supposed to be respectful and listen to their parents, but you're raising your children in America, so you've got American kids. So how does that go?
Well, I mean, to be really honest, if you really like you said, right, in the times that if you have a teen today, and you're raising a teen who is, maybe you're finding it little hard because a kid is not listening to you and things like that. If you really look deep, you feel really sorry for them, because the environments they are growing in, everything it's so hard for them. It's nothing like the way, our environments were. So I think we have to be empathetic, and we have to first of all understand that part, because everyone, all the kids, there is so much of wrong information they are being given, and so many temptations, and it's not easy. So I think once you have that perspective, then automatically your that patience comes in. And I think meditation is the main thing. Like, you just keep meditating, go to thoughtless, and then automatically then that perspective and the balance comes. Most important thing, morning meditation. This is very important. I know we have all these online sessions which are really important and they are amazing, but one must also go, silent meditation, just you and Shri Mataji's photo. That's it. And the first thing in the morning, early morning, that really helps a lot, because that time the mind is calm, and then you start seeing the flaws that are there in you. Because mostly when we are collectively meditating, that part is, we are not introspecting and correcting those mistakes. So that we should give some time, first thing in the morning, at least like half an hour, to meditation, just silent, just you and Shri Mataji, like that. That helps.
You're really good at giving tips. This is a tip. This is a major tip, that in the morning, if before you start thinking and going through your day and getting your right side activated and triggered, is the best time to be able to sit, be quiet inside, and witness yourself. And it's different. You have this individual journey that you take, and you have this collective journey. And in this class, we're on a collective journey. But we need to supplement that and support that with meditation, meditating on our own, and really feeling where we're at. Because when we're in a collective like this, you're buoyed up. It's like you're pushed to the top of the water, and it made lighter by the vibrations of so many kundalinis together. And that's beautiful. You need that. but you also need to know, okay, where am I at? Where am I at? And every day it's going to be different anyway. And that you and that you're sensitive to that, that you're starting to see where you're at, how your chakras feel, and to be able to go quiet inside on your own is a really basic tool that Sujata's mentioning. So we're in the tip, we're just about to wrap up, but we're being given this opportunity now. I think it's really unfair. Sujata's already given 2 tips. I don't think I've given any. She's given the tip about the phone. She's given the tip about morning meditation. So I'm just wondering, Andrei, do you have any tips for what might help you get more established into the witness state?
Well, I mean, I've given half a tip with the ice, right? Like, that's why it's called the tip of the iceberg. And you know, I think for many, it's not that hard to identify a couple of basic whys, right? Where does the attention, you know, try to run away? And most of us who live in the Western world, most of the time, we're pushed to the right. So and the reality is, I'm a pediatrician, right? I'll never speak against my client. The reality is, whatever the kids are, they weren't born with. Okay, it comes from us and from everything else around. These are the facts, and we just have to think about it like that. So, you know, if we apply the whys to us, it's like this, right? Why our mind runs away? What's in that future? Nothing. Let's not sacrifice the present, right? So to me, like this is a recurrent thought, right? It's the present is fine. It's actually awesome a lot of the time, especially in the morning, as Sujata has pointed out. You know, let's not just, it's gonna be made out of a present. We have to go back and stop this this run and say, after all, there is divine power. That helps a lot. Remembering that there is divine power just helps me a lot to just chill out and not worry about stuff.
It's nice. You're tapping into that feeling of connection to something greater than yourself, which is this witness state, this Vishuddhi, power of the Vishuddhi. So I'm a real practical person. I come from a family where we're basically taught, don't sit in your problems, do something about it. And then if you've done everything you possibly can, surrender it, because you've done everything you can. So I would just say, do it. Just like we say, do foot soaking, just like we say, do icing of your liver if your liver's hot. And we say, you know, you need to sit and meditate so this Kundalini stays active. You need to, it's like exercising your Kundalini and your vibrations. You have to use them. You have to give realization to others. You need to raise your Kundalini. I think Shri Mataji once said, every time you raise your Kundalini and more strands get tied up, that's like getting self-realization all over again. So we just need to do it. And this is one thing we can do when we're having a really hard time, or when we are just too overly active for our mind to quiet down. We just sit long enough, like in that morning time, Sujata's magic morning time, and we just sit and we watch. And we watch it, all the busyness, all the stuff going on inside, until it slows down and stops. And so we can just do it. We can just decide, you know, like Andrei did that time. I'm going to go into the witness state no matter what it takes. I had that app and I went to the beach. I'm having a particularly difficult time in my life right now. And I went to the beach and I was all worked up, just grieving. And I went to the beach and I sat and I just thought, you know, I'll just sit until it calms down. And on that day, for me, that took an hour. But at the end of it, it was such a triumph. It was like worth doing that. It was so worth it. So, anyway, I really, really recommend that throughout your day, you step back and watch yourself interacting with the world. Watch what your ego's doing. Watch what your feelings are doing. Watch what your triggers are. What is it that triggers you? And I have to say one thing is I'm really in the witness state because I forgot to mention something quite important. There's still a few people here. On this upcoming foot soak, we're having a special guest. It's Mary Downey from the Devi School, which is a Sahaja school in Canada, in Nova Scotia, and she runs a middle school and a high school where they really teach the kids about Sahaja as well as all the other academic things. And she's going to come and share about that on our next foot soak. So if that's something that intrigues you, maybe the person who having trouble with their child's respect, I mean, she might have some tips for us. And anyway, so this is the end of our session, and it's been lovely, so lovely to be with both of you and the whole group, which, as I said, just buoys you up, and your heart just opens, and your spirit just feels, you just feel your spirit, right? And that's so great to be together. So thank you for sharing this with me and buoying my spirit up to the surface. So we'll play a little music for anyone who wants to continue, and Jai Shri Mataji, and good night.
Thank you, friends. Thank you very much. It was lovely hanging out with you.